Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Locrine and we get to hear from Humber today in Act 4, Scene 5. Now, Humber, the last we saw him, he was starving and he tried to get some food from Strumbo, but the ghost of Albanact came and knocked Strumbo's hand and scared him like crazy and everything, so Humber didn't get anything to eat. And the ghost of Albanact was like, "Wahaha, this is what happens when you run around killing people who seek revenge on you." And then yesterday in Act 4, Scene 4, we find out that a long time has passed and Locrine still really wants to marry Estrald, but Corineus is standing in the way of that, so he's keeping Estrald in sort of this jeweled cave where he gets to visit while he just hopes for Corineus to die one of these days. So Act 4, Scene 5, we're back with Humber and he's still wandering around sort of in the forests in Albany, and he's not doing so well, and he says, "O vita misera longa felicia brevis, eo malorum fames extremum malum. Long have I lived in this desert cave, with eating haws and miserable roots, devouring leaves and beastly excrements. Caves were my beds, and stones my pillow bears. Fear was my sleep, and horror was my dream, for still methought at every boisterous blast, now Locrine comes, now Humber thou must die. So that for fear and hunger, Humber's mind can never rest, but always trembling stands. Oh, what Danubius now may quench my thirst? What Euphrates, what light foot Euripus may now allay the fury of that heat which raging in my entrails eats me up. You ghastly devils of the ninefold Styx, you damned ghosts of joyless Acheron, you mournful souls vexed in Abyssius vaults, you coal-black devils of Avernus pond, come with your flesh hooks, rend my famished arms. These arms that have sustained their master's life. Come with your razors, rip my bowels up. With your sharp fire forks, crack my starved bones. Use me as you will, so Humber may not live. Accursed gods that rule the starry poles. Accursed Jove, king of the accursed gods, cast down your lightning on poor Humber's head, that I may leave this deathful like life of mine." What? Hear you not? And shall not Humber die? Nay, I will die, though all the gods say nay. And gentle Abbey, take my troubled corpse. Take it and keep it from all mortal eyes, that none may say when I have lost my breath, the very floods conspired against Humber's death. So this is a monologue about giving up and wanting to die. He's been starving for the last 7 years, living in a cave, sleeping on the ground, using stones for pillows, and he always has in the back of his mind, Locrine is coming. So whether he's going to die of starvation or Locrine is going to come get him, he hasn't been able to get any rest in the last 7 years. So he starts calling upon all of the evil spirits of the world to please come and kill him, to rip him apart. He calls on the gods to please strike him down right now, and nothing happens. And that's not the right answer as far as he is concerned. So he decides that he will end his own life. And at the end of this monologue, he throws himself into the river and drowns. So it's a very, getting to the right place to be able to perform this monologue would be very tricky, and watch out for this one if you've ever had suicidal thoughts. And if you have had those thoughts, please, there are helplines that you can call. Please talk to somebody first. But this particular monologue, he is literally at the end of his rope. He's got nothing left, so he decides that he will end his life. He throws himself into the river and drowns. And then the ghost of Albenact comes out and basically sings, "Ding dong, the witch is dead." The ghost of Albenact is quite happy that Humber is now gone, and he's like, "I'm gonna go back to the Hellmouth and tell Brutus this happy news." So I don't think that the ghost of Albenact or Brutus is having a particularly joyful afterlife. And knowing what we know of Humber, they're probably going to run into Humber in that same afterlife. But yeah, so that's Act 4, Scene 5. We have a very distraught, starving, terrified, desperate Humber giving us this lovely long monologue, wishing for somebody to kill him, and when that doesn't happen, he ends his own life. And the ghost of Albenact then celebrates that. And that's the end of Act 4, Scene 5. And that's the end of Act 4, which, according to the dumb show, was supposed to be about Locrine falling in love with Estrald, which he did, but it left out all this other stuff that also happened in Act 4. It left out the other side plot. So tomorrow we're going to get another dumb show from Ate and another monologue from Ate to give us a heads up on what Act 5 is about. And then we'll dig into Act 5 and see how any or all of this sorts itself out and comes to any sort of actual conclusion. So come on back tomorrow for more. Mwah.